Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing the Generation 5 Pokemon tier list, and this is all my opinions like always. If you don't agree, too bad. It's my opinions. You have your opinions. Let me know your opinions in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe. Let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into it. And for some reason, Victini is number 1. And you know what? We'll rate it off with Victini as number 1. And I'm convinced, by the way, Victini is so overpowered. If it was real, it would be literal god, no matter Arceus. But as design and all that sort of stuff, my opinion on it, blah blah blah, Victini, I quite like actually. I'm going to put Victini in quite good. I quite like Victini. I don't have a problem with Victini. I think it's a very decent Pokemon. Moving on over to the starter Pokemon then, we're going to have Snivy. And this is going to go on, who I choose for starter Pokemon and all that sort of stuff. But Snivy I quite like as well. I will be more than happy to have Snivy in good. I have no problem with Snivy. When it comes to its evolutions, well, when it comes to the likes of Servine and Serperior, I don't really like them, to be honest with you. So that's probably why I don't ever choose Snivy. I just don't think it is. I don't think the evolutions are good enough. Moving on over to Tepig, and everyone likes Tepig. Very similar to the Snivy line, but I don't like its evolutions. And I'm probably going to put them into terrible. But I might bump Emboar up to average because of its shiny being blue. That shiny is gorgeous. Moving on over to Oshawott, and Oshawott is the line I choose. And I think Oshawott is amazing. Everyone should love Oshawott. He's so cute. Such a brilliant Pokemon. Such a cute Pokemon. Duot and Samurott. Don't like Duot, but I do like Samurott, which is probably quite controversial because I don't think many people do like Samurott. I didn't choose in Legends Arceus because of Cyndaquil. My love for Cyndaquil will just destroy anything. I will always go for Cyndaquil. But when it comes to the Generation 5 games, I always chose Oshawott. And I don't know, it's just my sort of, I just like it. When it comes with Patrat though, and Patrat's evolution, we're going to be Watchog, I think it is. They're shite Pokemon. If you remember, they are your typical Pokemon that you just kill off. Like, you don't care, you move on, you never remember them. No one cares. Lillipup and its evolutionary line. I really like Lillipup. I think Lillipup's really cool. I remember in one of my old games, I had a Lillipup. I gave it a nickname. I didn't like the nickname I gave it, so I called it back to Lillipup. And then when it evolved into Stoutland, it was just called Lillipup, and it was quite infuriating because, well, realistically, I wanted my Lillipup to be called Stoutland, but I was a bit dumb. And so it was a bit of a mistake, but we moved on. But when it comes to Lillipup lines, I will be playing Lillipup. I think Lillipup's really cool. It's middle evolution Herdier. It's average, and Stoutland I think is a really cool Pokemon. I just think it's a big dog with a mustache. How can you not love it? It's such a cool Pokemon. Moving on to Purloin and Liepard. Purloin and Liepard below average. You never really remember them. I think the only really big thing Purloin did was break Meowth's heart, and I think that's really about it. I'm pretty sure that they had one episode in the anime, and apart from that, I don't think anyone really cared. Pansage and just the free trio of Pansear and Panpour, and Simisage, Simipour, Simi whatever, I don't even care. Simisea probably. They're all. Do you know what, solid? They're all terrible. I don't like any of them. I never went for these guys. I thought it was a cool gimmick that they had, especially the gyms. I thought that was cool, but Pokemon as themselves, never really liked them, and they just weren't for me personally. I'm sorry to say. Move on over to Munna and Mushark, I want to say. I think they're quite cool. I think they're quite cute Pokemon. I think we could definitely have worse. They have a cool little feature as well when it comes to the Dreamland sort of thing. They had their own games. I think they're going to go into average. I think they are quite cool Pokemon. They're not really the most memorable apart from the Dream games, realistically. But I think, I think it'd be harsh to put them any lower. The Pidove line. No one really cares about the Pidove line. When it comes to the legendary birds, oh, I don't really like it. I don't really like that. When it comes to the legendary, the Route 1 birds, they're probably down on the lower stage. No one really cares about them, so I don't think we're going to spend too much time on them. Blitzel and Zebstrike. Blitzel, I'm seeing a lot in Pokemon Go at the moment, Blitzel. And I haven't caught a shiny, which is slightly infuriating. Its shiny isn't too much different. It's still black. I'm pretty sure it might be blue instead of, I'm not too sure. I don't even know. But I'm not a big fan of Blitzel, and its evolutionary Zebstrike. It's average at best. Now on to some Pokemon I do like, the Roggenrola line. I love this line. Roggenrola can go straight into amazing. It's really cute. It's really cool. Boldore, I still think is a really good Pokemon, and then that Gigalith. It's a cool Pokemon with red, but when you add blue as a shiny, it is immense. Up there with the best shinies we've ever had in the game. And I will hold that to the wall. What is beautiful. The blue crystals are beautiful. The Woobat line with Swoobat are very forgettable. But probably I hate that design on Swoobat. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Drillbur and Excadrill. Drillbur's average. I quite like Excadrill. I remember using it in a few playthroughs. And he's just a really cool Pokemon. And I quite liked him in the anime. Audino, or you know, the how do you say it? It was the Chansey of the generation. And we have got a Mega as well. I haven't got a little stage for Megas, so I don't think we had any Megas in this, but we have some by the looks of things, or maybe just one. But if we move on to Megas, we will put in one. But we won't put one in now. We will just chuck it into the waste. Because to be honest with you, that Mega looks terrible. I forgot I had the worst actually. I might have to chuck I have to chuck these guys in there because these guys are fucking ugly. Like, you know, the Pat Tracker stay there. Audino, I think is average. I think it's quite a cool Pokemon. I don't have a personal problem with Audino. I just think it's just a bit average. Timber and Gerda, and then Conqueror, I think it was, maybe. There, right. I have nothing else to say. He's quite a cool design. You're a bit shit. I don't like. Yeah, we're pretty shit. And then you're below average. Timber's quite a cool little design. I don't like Conqueror or Conqueror, whatever your name is. Like, you're just, I don't know, I just don't like you. Timple. I thought you had a spotlight hour on Pokemon Go, or Community Day, and you didn't. But you're okay. Like, you're definitely, I would probably say below average. Like, I don't really remember you from the games. Like, I never really used you. Water ground type's always decent, but ultimately, if I don't remember you, you ain't gonna be used. Throw and Sork. Throw is definitely below average. Sork I thought was quite cool. I was gonna put him in average. And I wasn't the biggest fan. I think they're definitely just Hitmonlee and Hitmontop and Hitmonchan ripoffs. Like, so we can't really expect too much from them. But they definitely just an average. And I might have to speed through this. We got a lot more Pokemon to get through. It's quite a big generation, so we have to start speeding through this. Swaddle and its evolutionary line. Swaddle I think is great. It's amazing. And then its evolutionary line are average. Apart from Leafeani, I think you're quite good. I quite like your design. Moving on over to the Venipede. And Venipede will always have a special place in my heart because it's the first shiny I ever caught. And I deleted the save. But Venipede can go straight into amazing. I remember the Sparkles coming out and having a very good time. Whirlipede, average, and then actually I won't lie to you, Scolipede can go straight into amazing. It is such a cool design, Scolipede. Like, the fact that like it's a bug type, it was just disappointing. Cottony and Wilmcott, you are just more like terrible Pokemon that no one really cares about. Same for the Petrol line or whatever you call. Like, no one really cares. Basculin is just another below average Pokemon that people forget. Sandel and Croc and Croconaw or Crocodile. It won't be called Crocodile. I think pretty good, pretty average, apart from your final evolution, which is sick as hell. He looks like he should be a shiny Pokemon, which is the best part. And I'm pretty sure the shiny version are the colours of Sandile. But I don't think the Sandile colours are the final evolution, which is a bit disappointing. But it doesn't matter, really. Moving on over to Darumaka and Darmanitan. I think you're quite decent. I'm going to put you in average. And then you've got the Zen version, which is technically actually still part of the Generation 5. It's not a Mega. But Zen version, I don't really know what the point of the Zen version apart from giving it a Psychic type. So I think giving it a Psychic type is a bit harsh. But I'm pretty sure if we look at the stats of the Pokemon, it's just going to be mainly special. So actually, I'm going to keep it up there. I think it's quite a cool looking Pokemon. Maractus is just a rip-off of Cacturne or whatever it's called, so you can go into terrible. You never really remembered it. Dwebble, I fucking love Dwebble, and I actually really like Crystal. I think they're really cool Pokemon. Although they are probably they're more defensively sound Pokemon, and like they're quite bulky and they're not really fast. I still think they're really cool Pokemon, and I think they are Pokemons that they're Pokemon that I remember, which is definitely a plus for me because I'm the one doing this. Scraggy, I think Scraggy's pretty average. I think he's decent. Scrafty I didn't like though. I'm tempted to put Scrafty in the worst actually. I hated Scrafty. I thought he was such a shit evolution for Scraggy. Scraggy, the very cool little thing where you can lift up his, I don't want to say trousers, you know what I mean? He can lift up, and he can have like a cool defensive mechanism using that. I thought that was quite good, to be fair. But apart from that, he's pretty decent. Skiglilith, I hate. It's such an ugly looking Pokemon. I think it's one of the worst Pokemon designs they've made ever. Yamask and Koff Grievous, I think it is, or Yamask or Yama. I really like you. I think you're sick. I think even your evolution is sick. I think they have a rightful place up in Amazing. I think they are. I love them. Tortuga. This is just gonna be full of Amazing. Tortuga, I think, is sick. Caracosta, I also think is really cool. Tortuga, I like because of that episode, that double or triple part where they have to go back in time. I thought it was such a sick episode, and it has had a special place in my heart ever since. Arcan and I can't actually say your last name. Average Pokemon. These fossil Pokemon are popping up all over the spot at the moment in Pokemon Go, which is fine. I don't mind them. I've evolved most of them now. I need to catch a few more Tortuga though, but. Yeah, they're right. I will probably use it sometimes in put them in gyms, but they're not really memorable for me. Moving on over to Trubbish and Garbodor. No one really cares. I don't think they're actually the worst Pokemon. They definitely could be worse, especially for the fact that based off Rubbish, I think it's quite rude, but I think they're quite cool Pokemon. Zorua and Zoroark, amazing. How can you not love Zorua and Zoroark? They're such cool designs. Their shinies are even better. I think their gimmicks are just unfortunate that they are Ditto gimmicks. And Dittos are so much easier to get. But the designs of the Pokemon are beautiful, and I will always remember them. And I will have no... Now, some people actually don't like them, but anyway, moving on. Minccino and Cinccino. Average Pokemon, don't really care. Cool Pokemon, quite cute Pokemon. But... they were right. They stuck with me, but not as much as some of the other amazing Pokemon did, especially. Gothita, I think it is. Terrible. And I think its final evolution is even worse. It had a cool little thing, I think, in the games with them disappearing or some sort of missing child. I'm not too sure. That was cool, but the design is shocking. And that is all I have to say about them. Solosys and its evolutionary line, I guess. I don't really know, to be honest with you. I think they're decent. I would never use them. They're below average, in my opinion. But I'll put you up next. I like the look on you. And you guys can just stay there. I don't really have any problems with you. Ducklet and Swanna, I think okay. I don't have a personal... this is all personal problems, apparently. I don't have a problem with the Pokemon. They're not really memorable. Swanna I do prefer. So you can go to there. Swanna I think is a really, really, I feel a bit dodgy saying pretty Pokemon, but it's quite a cool, it's quite it's a elegant Pokemon. Vanillite, Vanillish, or Vanillish, or whatever you want to say, and Vanillas. Vanillite, I really like into good, and then you guys are average. I will never use you, and I never will use you, but ultimately you guys are just... I don't think they're the worst designs. I know people hate on them. People love to hate on them, but they're okay designs. They ain't anything special, not at all. Dealing and its evolutionary line of Sobux. I like the fact that the gimmick with the seasons. I thought that was really cool, but I'm going to put them into average because you never really used them. But Emolga can go straight up into good. And now we go into Carablast. Carablast and the way it evolves. We'll get onto its partner in evolution, we'll say later on. And Escavalier. I thought that you were below average, but I think you're really sick. I think you're really sick as a Pokemon. Fungus and Amoonguss. Fungus is quite cute, but Amoonguss could go straight up into Amazing just for the name. Nothing else has to be said. Frillish and Jellicent, I think, maybe. They had the boy and the girl little designs, which was quite cool, but no one really cares. I think you could go into average, but I think you can happily go into below average. Ooh, maybe even worse. Terrible, don't like you. I don't even remember who you are. You can go straight into the worst just because you love terrible. That's a terrible design. Joltik, I really like Joltik. Joltik could go straight into good, and so can Galavantula, whatever your name is. And I might need to zoom out here because we are getting quite full. And I will actually just... So we are going to move on to the Ferroseed line, and you are quite shit. I don't like you at all, which might cause some controversy because I know a lot of people do like him, but I hate him. Moving on over to the Clink, Clank, and Clink Clank line, and for the fact that they have really funny names, they can go into average. Their names don't save their designs. I don't like the designs, but they're quite funny. I quite like them. Tynamo. You can go into, I want to say maybe, you're below average. You're quite forgettable. You're just a tadpole. And then you can go into goods. And I'm gonna put Electros. I want to say Electros into amazing because of its design is sick, and then they ruined it by making him swim in X and Y. But we don't talk about that. We're on Generation 5, and at this point in time, he was brilliant. Moving on over to Elgyem and Beheeyem. And they're alien Pokemon, and they're not just like Clefairy alien Pokemon. They actually look like aliens. Like, if I think of alien Pokemon, these are the Pokemon I think of. And for that, they can go into goods. They have like their weird fucking things with their hands, which is like, I think they're quite good. The Litwick line. I love the Litwick line. Litwick could go into amazing. Maybe not so much on Lampent. Lampent can go into average. I thought Lampent was decent. But it's Chandelure. Especially it's shiny, because I'm pretty sure it's shiny is like normal colour fire. And I think that's just really cool when we're using the purple. Bit like Luxray, it's blue, but then when you change it to obviously yellow, it looks so sick. Axew line, I love. Axew could go straight into amazing. Fracture is average, not my favourite. And then Haxorus is beautiful. It's shiny. I've got a shiny Haxorus on Pokemon Go, and it's the best Pokemon I've got. Not CP wise, just personal favourite wise. It's beautiful. I love it. And I will keep that. And yeah, Haxorus is up there with one of the best Pokemon they've ever made, in my opinion. Cubchoo and Beartic. Cubchoo's quite cute. Beartic is average. Don't really care for Beartic. Same in the sense of Cryogonal, or whatever your name is. Average. Like, yeah, I think you're quite a cool design. I remember trying to use you in game when they first came out, and I thought I wasn't too impressed with you, but you were hard to find. But I thought you were quite cool. Shelmet and Acetagor. Average Pokemon. I think Shelmet definitely gave away its best ability to Excavator, whatever his name is, with its shell. I think it's really cool. Now we go into Stunfisk, and I hate Stunfisk. I think Stunfisk can be deleted, and I wouldn't care, personally. I apologise if there are Stunfisk fans out there. Mindfu and Mindshao. Average Pokemon. I don't know, I quite like your design, I won't lie to you. You got a really cool design. Druddigon. Druddigon is really cool. I'm going to put it in good. I think it's, like I said, it's a really cool design Pokemon. And I have no one is doubting that. I'm going to zoom out a little bit as well. I think that's quite far enough. Like, Druddigon's a really cool design Pokemon. No one's doubting that. But at the same time, it's not as cool as prior ones they had. Golett and Gollick. I quite like you. So you can go in Golett, can go into good. And Gollick goes straight into amazing. Gollick just reminds me of the Iron Giant, which I think is it's quite a cool little. I don't think they actually made it as that, but it looks like the Iron Giant, and for me, it could deserve going to amazing because that's quite cool. Moving on over to Bisharp and Pawniard, average Pokemon personally. I remember them pissing me off in Scarlet and Violet, and that's really about it, to be honest with you. It's got a really cool thing with it's got an evolution in Scarlet and Violet, which is really cool, so I will happily take that. That will go straight into amazing. But it's not on here. Buffalance, don't care for you, go straight into terrible. Buffalance is just one of those Pokemon that you forget exists again. Like, I'm not being funny. Buffalance is just such an average Pokemon. But anyway, moving on to Rufflet. Rufflet I really like, and save for Braviary. I don't know if they're technically, I don't think they're amazing quality. I think Hisuian Bravery definitely is, especially shiny Hisuian Bravery. But yeah, we don't really care for that. Vullaby and Mandibuzz, or whatever your fucking name is. You just remind me of Doctor Who villain from years ago on the Sarah Jane Adventure show, which isn't a good sign, to be honest with you. I didn't really like that one. So you can go straight into terrible, and you can be forgotten about quite easily. Heatmor is average. No one really cared about Heatmor. Just another rip-off of prior generation Pokemon that they had. Durant, I think, was quite cool, actually. Never really used it, but you can go into average. I think average is a very kind little, kind of a kind rating for Durant, as I never really used it, but we move on. Dino is beautiful. Dino could go straight up into amazing. Zweilous can go into good. And then obviously we have to put Hydreigon into amazing. Look, it's a three-headed dragon, for Christ's sake. If you don't put it into amazing, you're stupid. Moving on. We're going to go into Larvesta and Volcarona. Larvesta I don't really like. Volcarona is a pretty Pokemon though. So I have no problem with putting Volcarona that high up. Moving on over, we're coming to the end now. Cobalion, we can easily put into average. I don't think anyone really remembers Cobalion. It's just, I don't really care for Cobalion. Terrakion can join him. I think out of the three, Virizian's my favorite. I think it's just quite an elegant looking Pokemon. I might just like elegant looking Pokemon, to be honest with you. Moving on over to the Weather Trio, I'm pretty sure. The Tornadus, well, the Pokemon with a tail, as some people have called them before, I'm pretty sure. Average. They're probably the most forgettable trio Pokemon you can have, even though they have two forms. They had that really cool episode in Black and White. I thought the Black and White series was really good, by the way. I thought it's up there with X and Y. They had some sick episodes. X and Y still clever. Reshiram and Zekrom. Ooh, I prefer Reshiram. Reshiram could go into straight into amazing. Zekrom could go into amazing. But Reshiram is way better than Zekrom. Kyurem, I think could easily go into amazing. Good, amazing, yeah. Kyurem, I'm gonna zoom out again. Kyurem could easily go into amazing. I think Kyurem is such a sick Pokemon. I think, like, especially the fact that it changes into Black and White Kyurem, which can easily go into Goods. Yeah, I'm well happy with that. Then we move on to the final 5. We have Keldeo, and its normal form, average, and same prison. It's fucking whatever form you want to call it. Sword form. Meloetta is such a overrated Pokemon in my opinion. If you like Meloetta, fair enough, but not for me. Not for me. And finally, Genesect. Controversial, but I fucking love Genesect. I think Genesect is such a cool Pokemon. If you don't like my tier list, let me know in the comments below. What would you change? Have a nice day. Make sure to subscribe, and goodbye.